Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you and a pleasant early evening. I hope you all are doing well and safe. Your family, all your friends are doing well and safe at home. Even as we are unlocking and some of us are getting back to business, the road ahead is not uh, is a little difficult, and I hope all of you are treading that with safety. So it is with great pleasure that I present to you the first in our series of Meet with Digital Thinkers Fireside Chat, wherein we showcase stories of digital leaders transforming businesses using technology. So before I actually get the leaders, the digital leader to talk about his journey, let me just take a minute to set the context of what we are looking at today in the session. So, as businesses navigate through the uncertainty today, how fast and how well they recover will be determined by the ability to be agile and quickly respond to the dynamically changing requirements. So, needless to say that cloud has been a key pillar in ensuring business continuity and adapting to the uncertainty. And if the data, the recent data is anything to go by, we are already seeing the growing traction in the rising cloud adoption. Just to give you a number from IDC, the IDC study states that the COVID-19 impact on IT spending survey, as a result of the spread of the pandemic, 64% of the organizations in India are expected to increase demand for cloud computing, while 56% growth for cloud software to support the new normal is being seen. So one area where cloud is really pushing the threshold for speed, agility, and performance boundaries is collaboration. And today, more than ever, the need for collaboration is crucial to ensure zero disruption to business. So, I would like to ask Venu. Venu, if you can play a short video showcasing how Google is helping organizations collaborate during these unprecedented times.
Sure, Shipra. Pleasure to do that.
Wow. Next Friday's pitch.
Tomorrow.
Way to go, bro.
Hey Google, join the meeting.
Thanks, Venu.
Okay.
Okay, so we just saw how G Suite is helping organizations push the boundaries of the collaboration to empower business transformation. Now let's see how one organization is actually using G Suite to redefine the boundaries of what cloud can help achieve. And we are here talking of DB Corp, which is also known as the Dainik Bhaskar Group. Everyone is aware, very well knows this media group. It is in fact India's largest newspaper group with 66 editions published in 4 languages and trusted by more than 4 crore readers across 12 states. So that's huge operation. And the tsunami of change in the media industry required the transition to real-time news delivery, developing and executing new strategies around engaging customers and building revenues. So to talk about how real-time collaboration on cloud is helping DB Corp enable all of that, I have the privilege to have with me Mr. R.D. Bhatnagar, CTO of DB Corp. Mr. Bhatnagar has over 39 years of experience in print and production and IT with leading corporates in India. His focus is on keeping technology relevant to the business and its future, and this includes newspaper technology and IT. In fact, he has been responsible for introducing many print innovations in the industry. And to take forward the discussion and to understand DB Corp's cloud journey, I would like to invite Priyadarshi Mohapatra, Director, Google Cloud India. Priyadarshi, or Priyo as he prefers to be called, is a veteran of the industry with over 2.5 decades of experience in both enterprise and consumer space in India. At Google, Priyo is leading the cloud business for North and East of India. So thanks, Mr. Bhatnagar, and thanks, Priyo, for joining us. So Priyo, I'll hand it over to you here to take it forward.
Shipra, thank you so much for the introduction. And Mr. Bhatnagar, it's my honor and privilege to host you today for this chat. I think all of us, and I think doesn't need any more introduction, Shipra said it very well. All of us know about the Dainik Bhaskar Group. A lot of us have grown up reading your publication. You know, your newspaper became like a daily habit for us in the morning when we got up. But also I know that you are the only Indian publication group among the top 3 in the world. And I think that speaks volumes about where you are. I think the best way for us to roll over this conversation, I think, is to hear from you a little bit about the heritage of the group. And really, how have you gone about this tremendous growth that DB Corp has seen over the time? Mr. Bhatnagar, I think you're on mute.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me start with thanking all my friends to be here. Good evening to all of you, and a lovely introduction by Shipra. And Supriyo, I'll just take the first question that you told, and I'm really very nostalgic about it. DB Corp actually launched 62 years back in Madhya Pradesh with a single edition, and the journey since then has been eventful even till this date. The marquee event actually happened when our group first stepped out of Madhya Pradesh in our foray in Rajasthan from Jaipur. And we used a very radical tagline of that campaign, which was "Ab Suraj Ugega Paschim Se." And you can imagine the kind of, the whole tagline speaks about. And we created a number of milestones, from installing a machine just in 48 hours, which usually takes about 32 days to install, and becoming the #1 newspaper from day one in Jaipur. So this speaks a volume about the practice that we would have had in our back end to achieve all this. And we also did many firsts, as it was introduced there, which we did first in the industry, like printing multicolor in language newspapers in 1996, where no other language newspaper ever had any kind of equipment or even thought of printing colors in the newspaper. We were also the first media house to use the internet for the content. I don't know if you remember, we created history when we published a colored picture of Martina Hingis playing a shot in the Wimbledon, captured from the internet, which never showed any graphics. So it was all, through scripts that you had to extract these kind of contents from internet in those days. So we were also first in doing a lot of innovations, like bringing 3D images in our newspaper, adding fragrance to a newspaper, and the list is long. So this entire journey has been very nostalgic to me. I can keep talking about it all evening. So I think you can start asking me more relevant questions now.
Such an exciting and I think absolutely awesome journey. I mean, whoever had thought of fragrance in a newspaper, while it might sound so easy to download a picture, the time you did download a picture from internet and showed it to the public, I think everybody talked about it. And I still remember it was like, how did they manage it? How did they get the image and where did they get it from? No, fantastic. Mr. Bhatnagar, I'm sure a journey like this, such an exciting journey, wouldn't be without your set of challenges that you would have faced while growing from where you started, in Madhya Pradesh to, literally conquering the country, the world. And I'm sure that in some of this journey challenges that you were facing, technology, legacy applications and all would have slowed you down or at least come in as a temporary hurdle. So I'd like to hear from you. How did you really go about them? How did you surmount some of these challenges?
Yes. In fact, all the challenges that still come across our company, we take them as opportunities. One of the most example, the common example that everyone can relate even today is the real-time collaboration. We are a multi-geography company, as you know, and we have close to about 70 different centers and 3 languages. So most important, I'm stressing upon the 3 languages that we have, and we have to sort of have a unified communications with all of them. So any report that got generated from a corporate, like from MD's office, the very first thing that happened was that it was sent to different 70 different locations. So one file got converted into 70 copies, and then in 70 different versions, because at that moment of time there was not a single version that was available in the company. We had all different sites of like 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 16, and all that stuff of the earlier application that we had. So 70 copies and 70 different types of, or maybe many more versions. Now, whenever a person interacted on those reports and returned it to the MD's office or to the corporate office, we had 70 more copies coming to us. So 70, the original, and the 70 new ones coming, and then a whole battery of people sort of compiling that data. And every day, our MD had to spend about 4.5 hours to go through these entire reports, like which is like an MIS. There were no dashboard at that moment of time, and there were no sort of a unified single dashboard that came into any device. So he had to spend that many hours going through all these reports, and this kept on becoming more and more painful for us, because the data itself was not coming from a single point of truth.
Right.
So this was one of the major pain points that were hurting, and they were hurting us, and we started hunting for solutions. The very first collaborative sort of application that was exhibited was by Apple. They came out with that pages and numbers, and people could also collaborate on one single sheet. But you could all imagine, we had to then get into a proprietary environment, and the cost of the entire Apple environment was too humongous, at least for our kind of operation that we were. There were other alternatives also that we evaluated, but no one else, could get the success that we were looking for. It was Google for Works, actually. It was known Google for Works earlier when it came to us. Was offered to us by Team Computers, one of the partners of Google, I think, and who demonstrated to us the real-time collaboration for the first time. And that was the starting point for us with Google. So mail, of course, 83% of the people within our organization were quite conversant with email or Gmail, which they had as a personal email. So there was no challenge in the change environment at all. But rest of the organization was absolutely very, very comfortable with the existing application of Microsoft that they were using, Microsoft Office. But of course, that Microsoft Office came with 4 different applications, like Doc was separate, and Slides was separate, and Excel was separate, and of course PowerPoint was separate. So they were not what you can say horizontally stitched together. But it was very difficult for us to get them through, to adopt Google Sheets, because it didn't even offer the very fundamental features like grouping, totaling, while again within rows and columns. So it was like, it was getting rejected all the time. But it was Team Computers, I must really put this on record. Even when Google didn't have this feature, Team Computers came up with Google scripts and made us manage those Google Sheets by using those kind of scripts, which allowed us grouping of the columns and rows. So that also, gave us some kind of a, what you can say, an idea that Google would definitely come out with these kind of features, because this is competing with the other large market shareholder applications like Microsoft, and we started rolling it out in the organization. So by using the workaround what Team Computers gave us, we were able to make the entire organization migrate onto Google for Works, which had email, which had Sheets, which had Docs, which had Slides. Of course, was not that predominantly sort of good enough to work, but Word and Google Sheets were definitely very near to what we wanted. The real piece was collaborating in real time, and all multiple offices should be able to work on that single document which this offered us. So this actually was our starting point in Google Suite. So that is how we started our journey with Google.
Fascinating. Mr. Bhatnagar, when I was hearing this story of yours, I I was looking at beyond those product elements, beyond those environments that you spoke about, how that thought process evolved from, why should we get locked down in a proprietary environment? How do we look at an open environment? It was beyond product. It was about getting a lot of people together, collaborating together to finally give something that the organization really needed. And I think this speaks volumes about beyond technology, beyond product, but about a cultural change which happened in the organization. And if Google really helped you, in creating this change, I would really like to hear from you. What's the kind of cultural transformation you saw within the organization after you started using products like G Suite from Google?
Well, you rightly said that in media, for us, just-in-time information is the promise that any media company, has, and it is one of the prime objectives of a media company. But having a legacy systems and riding on, in-prem servers pose major challenges, like having physical servers sized obnoxiously, because the moment you wanted to buy those black boxes or refresh those black boxes, we had to think about 5 years ahead and get the entire capacity installed on day one. So which was again a huge cost getting blocked there. That is commercial part of it. But if you look at operational part of it, there were major challenges. The editorial staff, the field staff yet had to come to the office to have that access of the information that they needed for the final outcome. So what we did, we first tested with a very simple UI for the editorial to facilitate for the journalists to write their stories right from the field and submit it right from there. So this was our beginning with our experience with GCP, Google Cloud Platform, where we developed a small application for mobile, hosted it on GCP, uses some of its cloud components, like we went into serverless computing, all that stuff, and we gave that app to the journalists so that they could take the mobile and right from the field sort of submit their stories, write the stories there itself and submit the stories to the desk. And you won't imagine the kind of joy these journalists had. It was like a miracle, and nobody would have thought that, without carrying a laptop or a diary or a pen, writing the whole story there, and then coming back to the office at 5 o'clock, rewriting or recomposing the entire story digitally on a computer and then sending it to the system. Even the person at 11 o'clock when the event is happening is there, at the field, right in the place where the action is happening, and writing his notes on his mobile, or even speaking. Today, as I speak to you about it, we use the voice typing ability of Google app, where the journalist, instead of typing on his mobile, can just keep on narrating what he wants. And the story comes straight to the newsroom at that very real time. So this was a very exciting experience that the journalist had at that moment of time.
Oh, fantastic. I think Shipra also mentioned that, your industry has gone through a tsunami of change, and I think it's been pivot around the speed of delivery. It's not just about the quality of the news and contents, but how do you really deliver it at speed on any device? And I think you summed it up beautifully, how you moved, how you created a cloud application, how the reporters could, report real time. Fantastic. But I'm sure, Mr. Bhatnagar, in this, the core element of, being extremely fast in responding, speed, agility, flexibility would have played a very, very core part in your decision on how you want to go about it and how you really leverage the power of cloud. And for us, like somebody who provides the cloud solution, we'd love to hear from you. How important were these factors from you, and how did you go about that?
Absolutely. Bang on. The small experience that we had with the editorial now has expanded to migrating all our consumer-facing applications on GCP.
Wow.
Imagine the amount of work that we do with graphics or very heavy files and photographs. The photographs that come from various agencies and even our graphers, when they send these pictures, are huge. That used to travel on our WAN, wide area network, and come into our network. And one picture, very large, high resolution picture could be somewhere around 10 MB. And on a page, one single page, there would be some 10, 15 page pictures. So that made our entire, the workflow highly loaded with very heavy files. But the moment we went on to GCP, we started using their buckets, and we started using, Kubernetes and the kind of other cloud components. Now, today, even a 20 MB picture opens in a flash. So that experience has really given us a great amount of speed. Today, the editorial people also shoot their videos as well as very high resolution pictures on the field, and it gets simultaneously transmitted to our newsrooms. The users also not only got the speed, but the security and ease of how, use of the applications or any other device today. So we utilize these frontliners to file their stories with pictures and videos that were taken directly on the website almost instantly today, but we have a moderator in between, so that moderator also works in tandem real time on that stream. So the story from the field comes to the moderator, and I think it just consumes about few seconds to a minute to just let it pass if everything is all right, because we are using a lot of some inbuilt technologies like video analytics and the NLP, so that it gives us, if there is any objectionable word that is being sent by the journalist, or if there is any objectionable object within the video or the picture file, it is highlighted to us, and the moderator just immediately just processes or passes it on, so that the content plays seamlessly on the consumer front.
All right.
Also moderating. Okay, so I've told this about moderation. Now, one of the important features that has also helped us is that on a single document, like a single news, today we have multiple journalists working on the single news. Earlier, it used to be one reporter used to write a story, send it to the next level, and the next level forwarded it to subject matter experts to sort of curate it, but it happens on real time today. So one single document, when the reporter starts writing, he can invite all help that is required on that one particular document, and every person is actually working on that one single document. You can imagine the amount of time that is saved now.
Oh, fantastic. I think, Mr. Bhatnagar, listening to you again and again is reassuring that we are in a business which is about driving with purpose. And I think, like it is rightly said, it's not just about technology, it's how you use technology. It sits so closely with human interaction, because the example you just gave, it doesn't make human beings redundant, but actually makes them more effective in terms of the time saved, in the way they can collaborate. I mean, absolutely awesome. It brings me to another point, and changing a track a little bit from the technology side. I'm sure that once you have adopted the technology and really made the business more effective, the business leaders would be looking at some key business metrics, and they would be trying to evaluate a situation which was in your earlier environment of legacy to how now you have empowered the entire business with the new technology, new modernization, new cloud environment that you have created. I would love to hear if you can share with us some real life examples on how some of these business metrics have got impacted.
Sure. I'm very happy to even share this, because I am one of the users of this kind of a component. As informed to you that we have close to about 59 printing plants, which has about 89 different printing presses, and across multiple geographies. So using Google Cloud, we have created a number of applications, that capture real-time metrics like sales orders, edition release timings, print timings, entire machine maintenance parameters of all these 89 presses. And by using so, all users are actually feeding in their relevant data into the relevant columns itself, relevant fields. But at the management level, we are able to see a real-time dashboard of what has happened. So the ability of cloud to auto scale also, has given us a very, you can say, a profound confidence that cloud is the only way. When I say this, I can share one example with you. We had conducted a survey on the Modi government's performance, asking about 20 questions to public by just sending a small link to them. And the response from the people was unprecedented. And we never had that impression that so many people would actually simultaneously respond. If it had been, a single server or a server within our organization, it would have crashed immediately. We saw that the servers, started getting utilized to 100%, and it scaled automatically at once. And the system was never down. And we were so happy that in spite, our IT team had to do nothing about it. It automatically scaled up. And the moment the spike started going down and became normal, the servers automatically descaled. So there was no human intervention required at that moment of time. And that was such a fantastic experience any IT head could have at that moment of time. Because that so important event that we were conducting, and any crashes that moment of time would have not been tolerated by the management.
That's so true, Mr. Bhatnagar. And more, if you look at the current context, we are living in such an uncertain, volatile world. We really are, never know what's going to be the next day. And you got to be prepared for situations like this. And I think you brought in the point so well that somewhere this is not just about technology, but it's about making you relevant in the real world that we are living. we can't be always planning for the next day happens sometimes, which takes us totally unaware, like the recent pandemic. And I think the way you have leveraged technology, it really helped you take care of some of those elements. And this brings, I'm a little bit curious, and this brings me back to the point. Your story, I have seen a very clear dimension of the business transformation, the digital transformation, how you've leveraged technology for that. But I'm sure there must be a core element of a cultural transformation also within the organization. I did allude to it before, but I would like to understand a little bit more from you on this cultural transformation angle. And has any Google product really helped you, like a G Suite? Did it really help you in that?
Yeah, of course. See, changing culture, changing technology overnight, buying anything off the shelf is very easy. But changing culture in the organization takes humongous amount of efforts, And this effort has to actually come as a top down. Like if the promoters and the top leaders are quite firm on what they need and what the outcomes are, based on certain changes they're doing in technology or any other landscape, it has to be mandated. So one thing that got changed in our organization was real-time accountability. When I say this, I'm saying it with a lot of double quotes there. When I say real-time accountability means the moment a mail was sent or a hangout session was done, it was expected by the management that a person would respond within the shortest period of time. Today, what happens, like if you receive a WhatsApp from anywhere, we are inclined to sort of answer it almost immediately. So real-time accountability and collaboration was one of the key changes that happened in the organization. It was no more that people could stay on, keep lying on the email or keep lying on any other document. When a document was shared, like a sheet or a document with the people who were supposed to respond, they knew that somebody was watching them, and it was expected them to answer or write their comments immediately as they have seen the document. So we are seeing people, shifting from traditional mailing to real-time communication today, and we use a lot of Hangouts and chats instead of email. So we encourage people to use more of Hangouts and chats rather than email, because email a person may just leave unread. But while you're doing an Hangout, he's there with you on the session. And if you're doing it on the chats as well as on your docs, you know that the person is alive on the same document. So, and COVID has further amplified it. So we are able to do our business as usual, even working from home. In the last 70 days, I don't even miss the office now, because I'm able to see all my colleagues on the screen. I'm able to work. I'm using the same documents, same dashboards, and contributing to the business in the same way as I was doing sitting in my chamber.
No, such an amazing thing. And I don't think, I'm sure, Mr. Bhatnagar, you never planned for a day like this. When you were trying to create the power of collaboration, communication, you never thought that you want to seamlessly do it from people operating from home. And it's such an important point if you look at it, because it's not just about how do we connect the workforce from home, how do they not just collaborate, but how they're productive, how they're really impacting business. And I think your illustration clearly brings forward that point. No, this has been such an amazing story. I mean, every element of it, which is it's a business transformation, technology transformation, and I think no story is complete with what you finally said about the cultural transformation. And coming from an organization which has such a strong heritage legacy, you started in an old world and transitioned and adapted yourself to move to the new world. Any thoughts that you would like to leave with all our audience, peers, and colleagues who are right now thinking about, how do they transform their journey? How do they go into cloud? Anything that you would like to share with all of them?
See, as I said, this COVID has actually amplified and rather, hastened the process of people looking at solutions that can provide them this kind of an agility. While, see, Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all other companies have also taken huge advantage in promoting their collaborative platforms, Meet was slightly, short of giving some few features like conducting webinars and providing those features. But I'm sure they're coming up with these features now. Very recently, because I think I heard that in another 15 days they will be giving this features to their collaborative platform as well. But let me tell all my friends who are there listening to me, for us cloud is no more just an option. It is rather the only way to recover fast. The most important thing with the cloud is that it comes with a built-in elementary security and features which most of the non-savvy organizations, I repeat this, not so savvy IT organizations will seldom have, in their list of human resources, that they will have a person looking after data security or IT security, or maybe having a person who is very highly qualified in data security and also building applications. So they will not have these kind of human resources. So cloud is one area where it gives you that built-in confidence and built-in security also, fundamental security that needs to be deployed. So one incident I would also like to elaborate again here, and the power of this Google Cloud and how it saved us. Last year, we had some flash floods in Patna, and we had to shut down our Patna office and the press together. And Patna prints close to about 400,000 copies. The edition is distributed in the city. And we were all taken back. How do we now manage, because the power is off, the roads are cut off, the press is off, we can't work. We immediately, within minutes, we shifted this entire operations of people working to the nearby places like Muzaffarpur and Bhagalpur and the places nearby, and the staff there sitting in Bhagalpur and Muzaffarpur started producing the Patna edition. And we came out with Patna edition that very next morning. It got distributed normally. All other editions, all other competitors could not distribute the paper the next day. Only we could distribute it, because we produced it, in other offices and also printed in other presses which were nearby. So this could be facilitated only because we had Google for Work, Google Cloud. Otherwise, we couldn't be able to do it.
What a fantastic example. I think it covered all the elements of not just speed, agility, flexibility, but how do you really give the content that a customer wants on any device at any point without ever getting disrupted by what's not in your control.
Absolutely.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for your time, and would have loved to listen to you more. And now I'll probably like to ask Shipra to take over and tell us, how do we take it forward from here?
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatnagar, and thank you, Priyo. So, Mr. Bhatnagar, throughout these last 20-25 minutes, I was hearing with fascination about how your journey through cloud, how the company has evolved through this journey from an organization with a legacy to a truly modern organization, that is facilitating real-time news delivery. And thank you, Priyo, for actually bringing out those important elements, that we really wanted to know about. So thank you so much for bringing across the sense of the real business transformation that collaboration on cloud can help achieve, whether it is making informed decisions with real-time data availability or improving response time, productivity, or operational efficiency. So thank you so much, Mr. Bhatnagar, for your time and for sharing your journey with us so candidly. It will be a huge learning experience for the delegates to take back with them and apply in their respective organizations. And thank you, Priyo, for the wonderful and enlightening discussion. So, I think we all agree that cloud is the key pillar in organizations' transformation strategy. However, one important element in this journey is to have the right partner, and to ensure that your journey is optimized and to maximize the results that you set out to achieve with cloud. Having the right partner is actually the most important element. So therefore, it's important to hear the perspective of the partner, and to bring that perspective, I would like to invite Ramin Dhal, Head of Center of Excellence at Team Computers. So Ramin, I'll hand it over to you here.
Thank you, Shipra. Very good evening to everyone, and wishing that everyone is doing very well and staying safe in these times. So Google and team have come a very long way together. We are a premier partner of Google for over a decade now. And during all these years, we have been fortunate to serve about 700 customers, migrating their mailboxes from varied platforms like O365, Lotus Notes, Zimbra, etc. Our first engagement was with India Infoline, which was also a first for Google in India. And so we have very fond memories of that. To our credit, we have the fastest migration, which we did in a record time of 9 days, migrating about 70 TB of data for one of our key customers. We have also done quite a few complex deployments, the most recent one being wherein we migrated from IBM Verse. So we have a fleet of specialized certified engineers who are able to deploy and conduct training across multiple locations throughout the country. We also have a very, very powerful change management and adoption program, which is run by our customer success team, who work very closely with the different employees at the customer side to make them feel comfortable with their new mailing system and other applications that the company has acquired. And so to do that, for example, we conduct Google Days, we conduct one-on-one sessions, send some nudges through mails, and some tips to use the new mailing system, etc. We have a remote command center which provides managed services round the clock. And to add to that, we, apart from doing G Suite for our customers, we also provide cloud services wherein we offer Google Cloud Platform as an infrastructure as a service and also do analytics on the cloud. Another thing that we deal with is the Chromebooks, which are becoming very popular now. For the simple reason that the Chrome OS that comes bundled in the Chromebook is a very, very light and simple and fast operating system, which allows to control what the user will be able to view, what the user will be able to download. So for an organization where the line staff has about 2 to 3 applications to work with, this turns out to be a very handy, lightweight device. So moving forward, I would like to share with you a short video which would bring forth the power of the various Google applications that work together to empower the teams that use that.
G Suite reimagines the way teams collaborate, so your business has the tools it needs to create its best work together faster. Here's one example. Sammy forgot a picture book on her kitchen counter this morning. But luckily for her, she's able to grab a loaner Chromebook and log in instantly with her 2-factor authentication security key. Organizations like Sammy's that use these keys have reported 0 account hijackings. Hangouts Chat makes it easy for Sammy to collaborate with her team. 2 days? That's crazy! Sammy's team can share docs, sheets, and slide presentations right in the chat room, and the correct permissions are added automatically. In Slides, it's simple for Sammy's team to collaborate in real time, and they know exactly what next steps are because comments and action items can be assigned to specific owners. Julie needs Sammy to look up some information. With Cloud Search, Sammy can use the same technology that powers Google Search to quickly find the data and documents she needs across G Suite and the tools her company uses most, like Salesforce. Sammy's team can work together in Sheets in real time, making sure the data is always up to date. No one gets a workbook is locked warning. And just like Docs or Slides, Sheets lets you make comments to other collaborators or create trackable action items. With Explore in Sheets, Sammy can find insights in her data by asking questions in plain English, like, what is the average revenue per region? Sheets uses natural language processing to understand Sammy's request and give her the answers she needs instantly. Ah, there's the number Julie was asking about. Some topics are best discussed face-to-face, but setting up meetings takes time Sammy just doesn't have under her tight deadline. In Google Calendar, smart suggestions take the headache out of scheduling. Calendar suggests meeting times that work for everyone. It even recognizes time zones and work blocks, like how Rosa is in Madrid and Nick is in New York. And when it's time to meet, Sammy joins Hangouts Meet right from Calendar. Her teammates can also join from a phone or outside domains. Plus, it's easy to present materials like documents or even a Jamboard session. While presenting, Sammy can continue working in real time. Sammy can even type a phrase like "Julie to follow up on this," and Google will leverage the power of natural language processing to create an action item. It even knows which Julie to assign it to. And when Sammy needs to send an email, Gmail's Smart Compose can offer suggestions as she types, saving valuable time. G Suite takes security seriously. To manage sensitive email communications, Sammy uses confidential mode in Gmail. This lets her put restrictions on messages, so they can't be forwarded, copied, downloaded, or printed. Okay, Sammy sent the email. And naturally, she goes back to chat, where this all started. Finding a time that works for everyone isn't easy. But with the Meet bot, Sammy can enter a simple command with the names of the attendees, and Meet will figure out who they are and when they're available. Whether it's an urgent exec request or an everyday project, G Suite can help reimagine work for enterprise companies like yours. G Suite reimagines the way teams collaborate, so your business has
So that's so cool. So you just saw that Google is not just Gmail. There is so much more to it. You have so many applications which help communicate, collaborate, control. We have here calendars to schedule meetings. We have chatbots to send secure messages, Hangout meets to do the video conferencing. We have a task list. Then there is, under collaboration, there are docs and sheets and slides to create our Word-like documents. We have our worksheets and presentations. We have Google Forms. We have Google Sites to create survey forms, to create websites. There is also powerful Google Drive, which is there to securely store our files on the cloud. There is Google Keep, which can help us keep notes, Jamboard, which is like a collaboration whiteboard, and then there is AppScript, which allows us to write some custom coding. On the control side, again, we have a lot of applications like Cloud Search, which gives the search facility across the G Suite, and then we have the admin, which allows us to manage the user policies, user access, and the security. We have Google Vault, which allows archiving of the mail and the other G Suite data. There is Endpoint, which can control the mobile device management, and the Security Center to give insights for the actionable insights on the security. So some of the work that we have done, which is worth mentioning, is one with DTDC, which is the organization where we managed to do a record time implementation in 9 days. So they engaged with us way back in 2017 and deployed the G Suite solution not only for their employee base, but also for the franchises across the country. So with the collaboration power that they got, their engagement amongst each other grew manifold and brought in a lot of agility and efficiency into their operations. And they were also able to bring down their mailing solution costs by about 80% at that point in time. They also could move from a culture where they were sending attachments in emails to sharing and collaborating on files on the drive, thereby also optimizing on the hardware utilization, and got the power of conferencing anytime, anywhere, and on any device amongst their employees, amongst the franchisees. So that also brought down the conferencing cost to almost zero for all of them. Another one was with the L&T Financial Services. They also engaged with us way back in 2017. So they deployed it at that point in time for 14,500 users and now have, of course, grown up to 25K. So at that point in time, their legacy system, the mailing system was really, really cumbersome. And with their frontline staff needing to interact with each other while they were on the move, this was not posing to be the best of the situation. So with the Gmail and calendar and docs and Google Meet, so they were able to again connect not only with the co-workers but also with the customers, could submit and track the loan disbursals, loan approvals in a very short amount of time, which really helped them to bring down the loan disbursement turnaround time to about 2 hours from 6 hours. And in due course, they have also graduated to moving all their core business applications onto the Google Cloud, and they heavily leverage on the BigQuery and run the machine learning algorithms to do the risk predictions, to be able to see where are the loan defaults going to happen. So some of the other success stories that we have are, of course, with India Infoline and Dainik Bhaskar. Apart from that, Angel Broking, Esri, Dalmia, etc. So across multiple domains, we have been able to bring in a difference with the introduction of the Google G Suite Power. A little about the journey of Team so far. So I would like to wish happy birthday to Team. Team is turning 33 years today, and 1,200 crores, from 1,200 crores to, at this time, we are looking forward to moving to about 2,000 crores in this year. We operate out of about 750 plus locations across the country, 1,000 plus customers across all kinds of segments of enterprise, mid-market, have a large arm taking care of the government segment, growing at a good rate of about 30% year on year, and a vast army of resources across different skill sets. Lastly, the portfolio that we offer is split across 3 categories: the hardware, services, and team digital engineering. With hardware, we bring to our customers the data center solutions, the devices, mobility, audiovisual solutions, networking. And in the area of services, we offer remote management services through our remote command center, AMCs, cloud services, staff augmentation, managed sprint services. And lastly, the team digital engineering, where we do more of the thinking related work. We have been doing data analytics for a very, very long time, and now we also do big data, advanced analytics, AI, ML, and change management, adoption, web applications, mobile applications, portals. So that's all from my side. Over to you, Shipra.
Thank you, Ramin, for that presentation. Giving us an idea of some of the use cases that that you have deployed with Google. So we come to the last segment of our session today, which is the question and answer. So we had a few questions coming up. So let me see in whatever time that we have, we can cover a few of them. So Mr. Bhatnagar, there is one question for you. which is, that someone wants to know that your offices and employees are spread across multiple cities and are on the road usually. So how do they access data offline if internet is not available?
Yeah, so there is a functionality in Google Suite and Google Drive that certain elements you can mark them as to be available offline. So, for example, if I'm working on an email and I'm traveling, I can put that email sort of on offline mode, and I can access that even by sitting in the flight, and I can continue, answering that email or writing that email. The moment I'm back in my network, it gets synchronized with my database. Now, coming down to the application that we developed on Google, one of the USPs I must tell you with the Google Cloud is that it also facilitates being in a very low network, which is a 2G network today. So in Bihar, we conducted a lot of customer surveys, which were in a very remote areas in villages where the signals were just about 2G, and we were able to manage taking their data as well using Android application, and that worked quite well. So we had very minimal glitches there. Hello, could people hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. I think that answers the question. So, there are a few questions for Team Computer, and for that, I would like to invite Mayur Kasar, who is the subject matter expert on Google Cloud from Team Computer. Maybe the one question for you is that someone wants to know that can we migrate our existing data and how is it done?
Well, of course, you can migrate existing data from all the legacy platforms. In fact, Google does provide a free tool for that. So whether the data is on the cloud or whether it's on a server or it's on hybrid cloud, you will be able to migrate it with certain protocols. If in some scenarios you may require a third-party tool, but it is very lesser to find any such scenarios.
Okay. So there is one more question. What about spam, antivirus, malware protection for Drive and email?
Oh, that's a good question. See, Google will eliminate your all the dependencies of for the outside tools like antivirus or malware or spamware. Google server will provide this protection to you inside the tool because and this is the best in a class. The reason behind is we know that any antivirus or malware or virus protection works on the how updated the definitions are. Being Google using on 1.2 billion users on a Gmail, they obviously have the most updated antivirus definition with them. So it's the best in a class and it is provided itself in the tool.
Okay. So another question is that what about DLP and mobile device restrictions and policies?
Yes, again, this comes in a G Suite itself. Whether it's a basic, advanced, whatever kind of MDM facilities you want, whether it's a Windows platform, it's iOS platform or Android platform, Google will be able to provide you an advanced kind of mobile device management. Let's take an example. Google admin will be able to not only restrict the device or the account from the configuring that his account in mobile device, but if that employee is exit, then Google will also admin will also able to remotely wipe his device. With that, no, you will be certain that there is no traces of his organization data on his mobile devices. Same goes for the DLP or data loss prevention functionalities. Whatever data you are storing on Google Drive, you will be able to audit it, you will be able to restrict it, and you will be able to find the reports or for the traces of that data.
Okay. So one more question that I have for you is, which has come from our attendee, is that does Google Cloud have any solutions on bulk email like MTA or SMTP?
Well, honestly, Google is not for a bulk mailing. Okay, so if you are shopping for a bulk mailing, there are third-party tools available. But yes, as you relate to SMTP servers, you must have many applications, SAP applications, scanners, printer inside your organization where you need a SMTP relay servers. Yes, Google will provide you the SMTP relay server, but it will come with a certain limit. So no one will be able to use Google server for the spanning purposes.
Okay, okay. So Priyo, I have one question that has come to you from one of our attendees, but I think this question is something which must be on the minds of a lot of CIOs and IT leaders. The question is that can ERP solutions run seamlessly on public cloud, and how secure is it? I'm sure you must have heard this question umpteen number of times, but yeah, so here's it again.
Yes, absolutely. And having been in the world of one of the large ERP companies before, I can tell you that it's not just about running the ERP systems in a secured manner on the cloud, but some of the features that Google brings in is very well differentiated. First is we do a live migration, so there is absolutely no downtime. And when an ERP systems mostly are mission critical applications, so you can't afford downtimes. Hence, we are able to do a live migration without any downtime, which is extremely useful. The other important thing is the way we are able to create custom VMs with the right amount of cores and the memory that you need to support your applications. The way we are able to create a very low latency requirement that you need. I think our platform has been a preferred platform for many people moving their legacy ERP systems. And we would love to hear more from our customers. If they can share more details, we'd love to partner with them and see how we can take the journey onto the cloud there.
Okay. Yeah, I think what you have mentioned truly makes sense, and we are going to gradually see a lot of these mission critical applications moving on to the public cloud. The speed of the journey is, however, it's not about whether it will happen; it is about when it will happen. So great. I think we are actually almost on time to finish to conclude this session. So. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatnagar, for your time. It was truly fascinating to hear your story, to hear DB Corp's story. We like Priyo mentioned, we have grown up, reading the newspapers, from your organization, and it was great hearing how the transformation journey has been conducted and how cloud has been instrumental in doing that. So thank you so much for your time today. And Priyo, thank you so much for taking our time today for this fireside chat. You actually brought out the right elements, will actually help all the attendees take back, something with them which they can apply in their organization. So thank you so much. And I would also like to thank Ramin and Mayur. And it's time for the weekend, I think, is almost starting. So all I can wish is that you have a great weekend ahead, even if it is at home. I'm sure all of us are getting used to weekend at homes now. So thank you so much and have a great and pleasant evening. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. It was my
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.